Let's build some easy, no frills basement storage shelves. You'll just need some 2x4s, some OSB panels, and screws. So here's the space that I'm going to be working with. As you can see, I've got it all cleared. First step is to take a 2x4 and make a mark where the floor joist hits it. Then we'll cut along that line. Then I'll attach a piece of scrap wood to the end of my framing 2x4. We'll get it level and then screw it into the floor joist above. If you have an I-joist as your floor joist, like I have here, I don't want to screw the framing of my shelves onto the side. I want to screw it from the bottom. An I-joist is where the center is plywood or OSB and it's framed by 2 horizontal wood or laminated veneer pieces. So I'll take a scrap piece of wood, attach it to the framing 2x4, and then we'll screw the scrap piece into the bottom of the I-joist. If you have a solid lumber floor joist like this one here, then you can just attach the framing into the side of it. I'll repeat that process for all of the framing pieces that I need. So we'll make a mark, we'll cut on that line, and I'll attach the scrap to the end. I like making these shelves 2 feet by 4 feet because you can get pre-cut OSB panels at most home improvement stores, or you can get a full sheet of OSB and have them cut it into 4s for you. I'm doing a double row here, so I'm going to do 2 sections, and they're going to be 2 feet by 8 feet total. So I'm going to put a framing in the middle here, and then a framing on each end. Next, I'm going to cut just several little blocks, just a few inches, maybe like 5 inches each. And then I'm using a spacer here to attach one of these blocks to each one of my framing legs. These are going to act as the ledge that I'll set the main framing of the shelving on. This spacer helps me to make sure the ledger pieces are all the same height on every single framing leg that I have. For the first shelf, I just want it to be a few inches off the ground, so the spacer's just a few inches long. And I'm just putting it there temporarily so that I can measure and place the ledger board where it needs to be. And I'm going to drill and screw that into the framing leg. Next, I'm going to make the front framing legs, and I don't need to make them as tall because I'm not going to screw them into the floor joists. Only the back legs are going to be screwed into the floor joists. These just need to be support for the front. So I'm going to use that same spacer. I'm going to put my little ledger blocks in, and then I'm just going to hold it up next to this back one, make sure they are the same height, which they are, and we're good to go. And next, I'm going to build a frame for all of my shelves to sit on. So I'm basically just kind of dry fitting at this point, getting all of my cuts made, and I'll screw all of the shelf framing pieces together. Again, I'm making a 2-foot deep shelf, and I'm using 2 4-foot long panels, so I'm going to have 8 feet in length total. And I'm building 3 shelves per unit, so I've got 3 frames here ready to go. Now for this part, I'm just stacking up some scraps just to kind of use as a temporary extra set of hands, and I'm going to put the framing into place. And then I will attach the front legs that I made earlier, and I'm going to screw the shelf framing onto the main framing. And you can see here it is nice and sturdy. Now place the OSB panels on top, and we're going to screw all of those down. Now for the second shelf, I'm going to add new little ledger blocks to each of the framing legs. And I have another spacer. This one's longer because I want some distance in between the bottom shelf and the second shelf. And once the ledger board's attached, I can remove the spacer. And then repeat the process again. Take your frame, pop it up on top of those ledges, and then screw it into all of your framing legs. Pop the OSB on top. Screw those down. And then of course repeat again for the third shelf or the 4th or 5th or however many you want to do. You can customize this, make it any length, width, number of shelves that you want. I have a lot of fun creating these because they're just so easy to do. They're really beginner level DIY. And these shelves are great for basements, garages, sheds, closets, anywhere that you need some extra storage and get all of your stuff up off the floor and organized. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for more DIY made easy.